All right, we are looking for structure number 3. Now, the original land patent that I actually found for this particular spot right here was Theodore Crook, and that was in 1914. So there's a cooking pot. All right, the next item on the agenda is to try the new Mountain House Cheesy Pepperoni Pizza Bowl. And I'm not going to tell you how much sodium is in this. I found that if you just buy a fish aquarium heater and drop it in there, Hi, I'm Brian from Northwest Bronco. Welcome back to the channel. We are backpacking the Oregon Desert, and it is April and it is absolutely beautiful out here. We have about a week of sun, so I decided to take advantage of that sun and come out and film a couple of homesteads for you guys. So all winter long, I've been working on things on the Bronco, working on things on the YouTube channel, just kind of improve things. But I do want to show you some changes that I've made to my camp setup for this year. Now, it's important to me that you know that I am not sponsored by any of these companies. So whatever I show you in this little beginning half of the video is stuff I bought with my own money. So the first thing I want to talk about is camp lighting. And I used to use the Ready Light, and I absolutely love the Ready Light. There's nothing wrong with it at all whatsoever. But I saw these lights and I thought I'd give them a try because they were a little bit lighter weight, simpler setup, and they had a couple more features. So these Devos lights are pretty cool. They fold up nice and slim, so they pack away super easy, which is why I like it. It saves room in the back of the Bronco. They're a little bit lighter weight than the Ready Light, and they do have a few more features. I have the small one and the big one. The big one I use just for my main camp light that's way up high, and then the little one kind of parks right here where I'm cooking and doing some work. And also this big one here, which is the brighter one, it has a motion sensor on it, so I kind of set it in my camp and I plug in the motion sensor. And that way, if anyone or anything comes in the camp, the light will kind of automatically come on. And I can actually adjust how long the light stays on and how sensitive the motion sensor is. So it's just kind of a little bit of camp security, which is always a bonus. So this is the Devos bag, and I can fit both of the lights in here, along with my flag and flagpole, along with several other accessories I have for these lights and the flagpole. All fits in this tiny little package. So it's a lot smaller and compact than the Ready Light. It's a little bit more lightweight. So another change you might notice, I no longer carry a refrigerator. The refrigerator would plug into the 12-volt plug in the side of the Bronco. After some review, I thought, you know, all I'm keeping in there is water, and that's it, because I eat Mountain House, and all of my Mountain House food for 3 days fits right here in the tray, so I really don't need a refrigerator. And for how much room and weight the fridge was, all I'm doing is hauling water. So I decided instead to just get, I think this is a 3-gallon or 2.5-gallon water jug. So I use this for my drinking water now. And that saves a huge amount of space in here in the back of the Bronco. So here's actually something I added to the camp setup this year, and that's the way to warm this water, because I use this water for showering, washing my face and hair, and washing my spork when I'm done eating. But it's always freezing cold, and I always not look forward to taking a shower. But I found that if you just buy a fish aquarium heater and drop it in there, and leave it in there for about 20 minutes, this water becomes super, super nice and warm, so I always have a nice warm shower. So to give you some idea on where we're at, right now I'm around Glass Butte, and then tonight we're going to stay the night over by Whitaker Holes. All right, we're gonna do a little bit of map recon here. So we just pulled off Highway 20. It looks like we have to go about a mile down this road. We're gonna go ahead and make our way down there. All right, we should be coming up on it right now. And I've seen this before, I just can't remember exactly where it is. There it is, there's this big old cistern. All right, I'm gonna go and turn in here and flip a U-ey and show you what we got here. So to give you a lay of the land here before we look around, I looked at a 1980s map and it showed 2 structures right there, but I went over and looked, I didn't see any wood or anything right there. So I don't know how accurate that map was, but there's a bunch of corrals over there. And if we swing around, here is the big stone cistern. This was all hand built, of course, and it's really, really big. We're gonna be taking a closer look at that in a minute. But first I want to tell you a little bit of the history I do know about this cistern. So to give you a little bit of history on the information I got about this cistern, I was actually pulled over on the road right here doing a little map recon last year, and a local rancher came down the other way and we got to talking a little bit. kind of about the history of the area and this area. She knew a bunch of history, and then I knew some history she didn't know. So we kind of exchanged information, and she ended up giving me permission to film on some of the private properties that are out here where I know there's a bunch of homestead stuff. I'm pretty lucky. So Susie, if you're listening, thank you very much. I really appreciate you letting me be here, and it was very nice to meet you. Now, the original land patent that I actually found for this particular spot right here was Theodore Crook, and that was in 1914. So in 1916, so it would have been 2 years after it was originally patented, a man named John Perry actually held the land patent for this land. So I'm assuming that John Perry lived out here. I don't know for how long, because the trail of history kind of stops there. I think they made that back in probably 1914, 1916. And if you look inside the cistern, you can see there's a whole bunch of debris in here. A bunch of old cans, and those cans are probably left over because there's some pull top cans and some solder bottoms. So these would have been late 1800s to early 1900s. So that's about it for this spot. So we're going to go ahead and hop in the Bronco, head down the road a couple miles to another spot where I believe there actually was a homestead that we can take a look at. All right, we just made our way through the gate. It looks like this road is going to take us down to this kind of a valley at the bottom of. It's actually at the very bottom of Glass Butte. And I'm looking up at the radio towers, and I got stuck up there at the beginning of this year, up in the snow. So, ugh. All right, I'm already starting to see a few cans and a few fence posts and a little bit of wire and things like that. So I think we are. Oh, there it is, right there. All right, I can already see a structure right there behind you, and I can see a stove over there in the sagebrush, and the sage is really high right here. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and take a look around. I'm not sure how many structures are out here, but we're gonna do some hiking. So as I'm rolling in, you can see there's a can right there, and this is actually an old stove right here. And the funny thing is, there's 3 stoves, another one there, and then another one way back there. So I'm going to guess that what we're looking for is 3 different structures, and all the stoves from those structures have probably been drug down here. So we're going to try and find 3 structures. You see some of the decking right there for the floor. And then that hole right there, I believe that's going to be the root cellar. And it kind of looks like possibly this whole structure was built with a root cellar underneath the flooring. Well, this would be structure number 1. This is a pretty good sized structure right here, and it did have a root cellar built into it underneath the floor, it looks like. Let's go find our second structure. Right here we have kind of the remains of a step board on a car right here with a fender. Right here is a nice big cistern or water trough looking thing, which means there's probably a well close to here. There's the well hole right there. Got some concrete work. See if you can feel the cool air coming out. Usually you can. Yep. Not as strong as some, but definitely some cold air coming out. Looks like we have a couple of repurposed 50-gallon drums, 2 of them here. Maybe a fire pit type thing. Ooh, there's a cooking pot. And here is an old stove jack right here. So that'd be to one of those stoves. Bottom of a big old jar. And right up here is another structure right here. So this land was actually patented in 1922. So everything you're looking at here is probably from around 1922. And James Mosier was the man who patented this land. And that's really the only information I have about this particular spot. So James Mosier lived out here in this valley. And it's a nice little place. So let's go ahead and keep looking around because we have to find our third structure still. All right, we are looking for structure number 3. It's like a Dr. Seuss book in here with the sagebrush being so high. And it's hard to see over the top of it to find things. There we go. This will be structure number 3. This is another big one. This is very similar to size and how the first one was built. You can see the flooring, same as the other one. Root cellar hole. So the house was built over the top of the root cellar, it looks like. There's the stove jack right there. Stove pipe. and another stove jack. All right, last but not least, we do have a big old cistern, concrete bottom, metal sides. They put a lot of work into this, so they were probably here for quite a while because everything like this is pretty established. All right, well, I've spent a couple hours here just walking around trying to find stuff to show you guys, and that's about it. So pretty cool little spot from 1922. This is where they lived, in this beautiful little valley. We are gonna go back down to the Bronco and head to our next spot. That's gonna be over by Whitaker Holes, so we're gonna have a break of about probably an hour here before I get there. And then I'm gonna show you another cool site. All right, so we just arrived at Whitaker Holes, and this is actually where we're going to be spending the night. I'm going to be spending the night on the south side of Highway 20. That's one of my favorite little camp spots when I'm out in this area. But we're on the north side right now, where there's a broken down stone building back here. Now, I took a picture of myself in this stone building a while ago, and somebody sent me, one of my subscribers actually sent me a message saying, hey, I know what that is. That's an old hunter's lodge. So I don't know if it is. It's pretty darn old. I'm going to have to take his word for it because I don't know, but we're going to go investigate that area a little bit more. Then we might take a hike down Whitaker Holes, the actual water holes, to see if we can find some pictographs supposedly that are there. So first, let's go down here and take a look at this old building. Actually, kind of a funny story. When I first found this building, I've driven by this thing probably about 10 times, and I never saw it. And then a couple of trips ago, I saw it off the side of the road, and I'm like, oh my God, there's a broken down building right there. But turns out my buddy Nate from the Off-Grid Recon channel, he's actually seen this before, and he actually went, I think he filmed it on the trip where he went on a trip with me. He did kind of some drone footage of this thing. So of course he saw it and he's like, yeah, I've seen that before. So, but I haven't, and neither of you probably. So let's go have a look. Right over there is a foundation of an old building. This is actually a pretty good sized building, and if you're the one that sent me that message saying this is an old hunter lodge type thing, send me some more details about how you know what this is, and maybe some more information about it. So this area is absolutely clean. There's no debris anywhere, no glass, no pieces of dishes, or a couple of cans here. I got one here, and I got one there that's a pull top can. So that's it. There's nothing else to really see. I've hiked all around this area. So I think right now we're going to head down to where Whitaker Holes is, and I'm going to hike and see if I can find some pictographs that supposedly are there. So after doing the drone recon, that canyon actually goes quite a ways back, and I'm not really in the mood right now to be hiking that far. I'm sure the pictographs are down there, and maybe another day we'll come back and take a look. But in the meantime, I think what we're going to do is we're going to go set up our camp, because I'm really looking forward to trying that pepperoni pizza from Mountain House. So I am going to turn around, head over to camp, and see you guys there. I made it into camp, and this is one of my favorite little spots. It's right off Highway 20, so it's not like I'm way out there or anything. I'm kind of by Whitaker Holes, kind of by this lone juniper tree here. So I'm going to go ahead and finish getting camp set up. I got two things I want to show you before we sign off. One's going to be this flagpole that I got that's kind of fun. And then also I'm going to be doing a taste test on the brand new Mountain House meal, the pepperoni pizza bowl. So I'm going to finish getting things set up, then I'll see you guys then. All right, first things first, I want to show you this flagpole looking thing I got. And like I was saying in camp earlier, this is the Devos bag. It's kind of a bag you can get as an accessory, and it holds a ton of stuff. So in here I've got both my big camping light, my small camping light, my flag. I also have different color lenses for these lights, like red, I think there's a green and an orange, amber color. And then motion detector for the light. Then some other doodads. And for the flagpole, I actually ended up getting 3 different flags. I got a Northwest Bronco flag. These are 3x3, so they're not very big. So I got that one. And then, of course, you got to have an American flag, 3x3. And then I also have an American flag that's a fire department flag. So it just kind of depends on my mood on which one I want to put up. And this is actually a solar powered light that comes on to light the flag up at night if you leave it up at night. So you might be asking, why on earth did I get a flagpole? You know, I just need to spice up camp a little bit. I'm not going to fly the thing all the time, but if I'm in an event or I'm with a group of people, or sometimes I'm just feeling spicy, I can put a flag up. Well, it's windier than shit out here, so you're going to get a pretty good demonstration whether or not this thing will hold. And I used it last night and it held just fine. It was quite windy. And all this is it has an adjuster so you can make sure the flag is straight. You just pull this thing up and it suction cups to your window. So just leave a little gap at the bottom in case you open your door. Put the little lever up. That is stuck on there and it's not going anywhere. Then you stick your flag in the thing, tighten it up, and you're good to go. And this actually has this pole actually has like 3 or 4 sections, so you can make it as high or as low as you want. So just kind of a fun little thing. All right, the next item on the agenda is to try the new Mountain House Cheesy Pepperoni Pizza Bowl. And this has pepperoni, cheese, and the crust is in here in tomato sauce. And I'm not going to tell you how much sodium is in this. All right, what's my honest opinion of the pepperoni pizza? It tastes like a squished up slice of pepperoni pizza. The crust that's in here, the chunks of crust, are a lot like biscuits and gravy biscuits. Same type of texture. I could use a few more chunks of pepperoni or just something else to chew on besides the crust. It's a little bit soupy, but all in all, you know, it tastes good. It tastes like a pepperoni pizza. Now, is this something I'd eat regularly? I probably won't eat it regularly because it's a little bit too soupy for me. But I would throw it in every now and then when I just want something different. So don't forget, this week I am having a lift put on the Bronco. That's going to be the Bilstein 6100 shock. So keep an eye open for that video that's going to be coming out. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe for more Bronco content. I'll see you next time.